Hentai is degenerate. There's way too many big boobied women. There is a, I think I've said this before, but there was like an animating style. I think it was when people were, I'm not trying to do this like, oh, I hate technology shit. But I think it was back when stuff was more hand-drawn and before it all got digital. Just the way that older hentai looked was like so much cooler than like the way that the newer digital stuff, like, I don't know, like the colors are too bright or consistent or whatever, but man, the animation is just, and also one thing that a lot of hentai suffers from too is the animation. So not like the actual art or the drawings of the character. The animations are usually really, 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 really bad. Really, really, really bad. Just like super horrible. Like almost comically bad. And I don't know. The real ironic thing is that, I've said this before too. The ironic thing is that old hentai was literally 2 frames over and over again with moaning sounds in the background. I still think the animations were better. Like how many times, like I think that if you want to look at the most comically stupid stuff in the world, looking at like anime like blowjobs is just like some of the funniest dumb, where like you get like, there's some where you get the shot under where the woman's like leaning forward and her arm is here and like the dick can be all the way in her mouth, but when the guy comes, there's like still somehow like cum like coming out of her like fucking thing. And then you've got like this weird trend in like, there's one studio, it must be one studio because the animation always looks the same, where like when a girl's blowing a guy, there's always like pubes in her mouth. I was like, what the fuck is happening? Or like the dicks are like this fucking big compared to the face, and it's like every, god, like all of the animation around it is just so fucking horrible. It's just so bad. It's so bad. I don't know. It's just, and then like all the girls have like fucking like massive fucking knockers, the biggest boobers in the world, and it's just, I don't know. Fuck, yikes. Destiny, Queen Bee. Why do you keep saying Queen Bee? Oh, but I was gonna say all the best stuff right now is being made by it's like by amateur animators on Patreon. Like they're like, the stuff that they output is like 1,000,000 times better than the actual studios these days. I don't know if it was a funding thing or what, or if the people on Patreon just have like more time or some shit, but oh my god. Our culture is obsessed with big dicks. Yeah, but the hentai big dicks are just ridiculous. They're so big. Do you watch animated shit, not Doujins or H games? Some of the game stuff can be okay. Comics are just, I can't do it. I just don't think I'm born for comics. I'm not a comic book reader, okay? My problem is that like every single panel of like hentai, drawn hentai manga, I don't know how you pronounce it, the D word or whatever it is, I don't know what the fuck they're pronounced as. But like when you have like a person and they're like having sex and the whole panel is like liquid cum or sweat or so, like every fucking place, it's like, it's just so ridiculous to me. I just can't even. It's just like comically fucking stupid to me. I'm sorry, but you know, listen, to each their own. Don't let me inhibit your ability to enjoy what you enjoy. The X-ray stuff in vid sometimes is corny too. Yeah, I don't know, just a lot of the animation is just really, really, really bad. And then there's all the same anime tropes are still usually there as well, I guess. Like where all the women are like the maturity level of like a 5-year-old. Don't touch my special place. If you do that, I'm gonna get horny. Ah! Like, oh my god. Like it's like every comic is like a quasi like rape fantasy. Or like you get these girls that have these like 55 DD, or no, that doesn't make sense. These like 34 DD tits or whatever that are like shaven and all sexual perfection or whatever. And then it's like, oh, nobody's ever touched me. I don't know anything about that. Ah. It's like, oh my god. I don't know. Or it's just not my thing at all. And that's like 99% of, why is it that weeb shit seems to like have super pushover guys who basically get raped by the girls in the shows, etc. It just makes me hate all of anime. It sounds kind of shady to say, but I think that like it's because they want, I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this. They want the types of people that would watch anime to be able to identify with the main characters. And it's one of the reasons why, for me, a lot of anime, I think this might have been one of the big reasons why I initially stopped watching animes, because it was so hard for me to identify with any of the main characters. Because like, I just, for whatever reason, I've never viewed myself as like, oh, like I'm just some, like I'm a loser reject in high school and I just wish that like 5 beautifully attractive girls would drop into my lap and they would just all love me even though I'm like so shy. But that seems to be like such a common trope in anime where like, oh, like there's no reason for anybody to like or love me and blah, blah, blah. But oh my God, somehow all of these amazingly attractive, beautiful women, like, and it's like, okay. Do you bookmark or save your favorite not safe for work content? Yeah, but I'm like super ADHD brain. I think I can only watch something like, the goal here would be the ultimate goal. If they made a machine that could do this, If they made a machine that could do this, I think people would fry their brains. They should make a machine where you can push a button and you can zap your head from a ton of shit that you've already seen or listened to. Imagine if you could put together a playlist of your favorite music and then zap your brain so that you would have never heard any of those songs before, and you'd be like, oh my God, and every time you hear a new song, or every time you hear one of those, it's like a new song and you're like, oh my God, fucking awesome. Imagine if you could do that with porn. You have like oh my God, that would be some fucking sick shit. Unbelievable. But yeah, like I'll bookmark porn stuff, but like it's like, I don't think I could masturbate. Even if you find something that's really good, I don't think I could watch like the same thing for like more than like maybe 4 or 5 times. And then after that, it's like, okay, well, we've done this. What's some of your favorite porn on MDMA? I've always wanted to try to have sexual experiences on drugs, but I just don't get horny. Have you ever just come without being that hard? It's possible to. I don't know. I feel kind of bad sometimes talking about something, so I don't want to like shame anybody, right? It's hard to tell like what's different and what's normal versus what's not. Because I know everybody's body parts are different, everybody does things differently. One thing that's like a really big turnoff to me is for some reason in a lot of porn, if the guy is not super hard, it is very, very, very hard to get into it. And I see this happen a lot, where like if you can take the dick and you can like bend it around your finger, like what the fuck? I don't know. I can't get into stuff like that at all. It's like, this is just, I don't know what's happening. I don't know if the guy's on, yeah. That's what fluffers are for? Would you, okay, I try to be mindful now, because so many things. You know fluffers aren't real, right? I can't tell if people think fluffers are real or not. I think I've even referenced these things in the past, but it's like, I think that there are actually, unironically, a lot of people that think that there are women who are dedicated to like keeping people erect or whatever in porn. Fluffers are not real. What is a fluffer? People think that there are girls that are dedicated to getting guys hard or like sucking on them between scenes to make sure that they're sexually excited. Fluffers are not. They might have been real at some point in time, but as of right now, fluffers just, they're not a real thing. They don't exist. Your true bisexual nature is coming out here if you are worried about the guy's dick and straight porn. I think the dick part is really important, but I am bisexual, so I don't feel like I don't have some weird inner conflict where like, oh no, I don't know if I like dick. I think a good dick is like pretty important. I think you can appreciate. Some porn is like, god damn. But I think that a lot of people, especially as guys, become kind of like less like self-conscious about like being homophobic or whatever against themselves. There's like some really weird shit where a lot of guys have a lot of trouble with that. But it's funny because like if you go to a lot of not safe for work subreddits and shit, you'll see people say like, damn, that guy's got a really nice dick. Right? Like most people seem to understand it. I also think it's really funny. What does Tabor want? Hop in the debate room, I'm here. Why? About fluffers? Oh, go Google it or go read it. If I'm wrong, then fine, I don't care. It's something that I've read about like quite a bit because and you can see like a decent number of porn stars. I think I read something once by James Dean. I think there was somebody else that talked about
There's this one channel on Pornhub where the girl makes fantastic blowjob videos. But the dude's dickhead is like fused with the shaft of the penis. I cringe too hard to watch.
Wait, are you talking about Two-Tone Malone? Because there's one guy that's got like the dick, the head and the skin around the shaft are two completely different, very different colors, and people call him Two-Tone Malone. But anyway, from what I've read, like from most like reputable like porn stars, like fluffers don't exist. It's not like a real thing. Some people get really upset when the dick in porn is not to their specs. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be like a super. It doesn't have to be like a fucking 12-inch like monster thing or whatever, but the things that I get, fuck, oh my god, I don't know if this is like for reaffirming shitty stereotypes. Okay, well, hold on, I'm trying to think of what I should say. I'm trying to be responsible. One of the big turnoffs I have in Asian porn, I don't think it looks good when you have like penises that are on the smaller side, but then also the massive, 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 massive bushes. That combination is like probably one of the least attractive things I've ever seen in my entire life. And for some reason, it seems to be so common. I don't know if it, or maybe I just don't watch enough Asian porn, but it seems to be so common. And it's like, fuck, why? 5 to 6 inches is nicer looking to me than 7 to 8. Sure, I mean, like the hold on, I have to make these again.
Stop lying soon. You're gonna tell us Bang Bus isn't real and just fiction. Bonus me mom woo, yeah.
Nice. You can never really tell the size of a penis in anything because the size of a dick is always going to be relative to what's around it. And like a lot of the girls working in porn are literally like fucking 4'11", 4'10" girls. So like a normal dick next to a person like this is gonna look like a fucking behemoth cock. The weird crying sound that Asian girls make. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's a lot of weird stuff. You seen the Asian porn where the dude has beads or some shit in his dick? I have no idea. I don't watch a lot of Asian porn. Oof, I can't do any of the sounding stuff or whatever. All of it is very... that's too much for me. Have you seen the one where the dude stops time? Most of like the comedy, like porn story stuff is... I don't know, yeah. Can you watch censored porn? No. That's just also super cringe. Can't do it. Have you ever tried hypno porn? Is that Tyson? People who care about the inches of dick literally are literally the dumbest people because it's really about girth and shape. Who likes a skinny 10-inch dick? Well, sure, but I think most people that say they like big dicks would also say like, oh yeah, I want them to be girthy too, right? Oh my God, I'm so glad this trend came and went in like 1 or 2 years. The dumbest, stupidest fucking trend in porn was that bubbling shit. God, it was so fucking cringe. Oh my God, dude. If I had to go into some serious shit and I couldn't afford to be horny or whatever, I would just open a bubble porn dick up or a bubble porn picture up and my dick would instantaneously shrink. God, that bubble porn shit was so cringe. Fuck, I can't believe you fucking losers like that. Oh my God. Wasn't that like 10 plus years ago? No, because at the very least, I remember, I feel like I had these conversations back when I lived in Poland for a few months. Dan was probably a huge bubble porn lover. He just seemed like that kind of guy. Bubble porn is where you like strategically draw circles over a woman's body to make it look like she has a nude picture if she doesn't. It's just super cringe. Do you like the rise of deepfakes? You said the one with Amy Coney Barrett getting sent. No, that's kind of weird. I don't know. For whatever reason, because of like the mind that I have or the things that I'm into or what I like or whatever, I super duper don't care about like celebrities. So like none of the deepfake stuff has like much of a care to me. Like I don't like, there aren't any celebrities that I find particularly attractive, I guess. It might just be like because of the time that I grew up in. I think that as I grew up, I think as I hit like my teenage years, I think the look that was like starting to become like really popular that I grew into was like that girl next door look. And now we're very much, I think, kind of moving back a little bit towards some of the older, like, kind of pornographic standards, like the really big lips and shit. And it just is super not appealing to me. I can't think of, like, any celebrities right now where it's like, oh my God, like, if I could see that girl, I would just want to fuck the shit out of her. I totally don't. It's just not something I feel at all. But then again, even back when that girl next door, like, was kind of becoming popular, even still, like, most of the main, like, actresses and stuff had, like, I don't know, ugh. It's just not something that I personally am attracted to at all. Would you mind if people deepfaked you? I don't care. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of weird, but it's just give me a huge dick. Do you think the 12-inch BBC dick is a bit racist? Yeah, a little bit. There was I've had conversations before where some black guys are like a little bit nervous, depending on the type of girl they're going out with the first time they fuck, if they have like a normal dick, because they're worried that like, because some white women unironically expect that every black guy has like a 12-inch dick. If I like white girls over another race, is that considered racist? I mean, everybody can have like preferences for like things that they find attractive. But it's like when it just depends on like, it depends on how you phrase it and what you're doing. Like I prefer brunettes over blondes, but if I was like, I would only ever date a brunette, like, well, that's kind of silly to say. I'm sure you can find people that like you would like to date even if they don't have, like they don't match 100%. Most women I've been with think it hurts when you hit their cervix. I don't know what the obsession is with the big dick. I think that that's like, I don't think that's quite as one-dimensional as people make it sound like, because there are some women that actually super get turned on by that, which is strange, but I mean, I don't know. When it comes to sex, like all you can do is you just have to talk with your partner, because different people like different things, and you can never go, there is, I don't think there is like a guide. Like everybody's just so different. I mean, like there are like some things that are generally true. Oh my God, 738 DPS? What do you watch more as a bisexual guy, Destiny, gay or straight porn? I think I don't like anal sex at all. It's like I think solo guy stuff is interesting, but that's about as far as I'll go for. Why do you think step-sibling porn has become so popular? The way that I've heard it described by people in industry is that like, one, it's kind of sort of taboo, and then two, people like porn with kind of some kind of story that they can latch onto, and then three, it's super easy to just do step-sibling stuff. Like it gives you an easy setup, easy script, like that's essentially what. Have you thought about playing harder into the LGBT Latinx identity that you can claim? It would make it harder to get canceled. Maybe. Making those things like part of your identity is always, I think it's just my upbringing or the things that I've been through make it really hard. Like, I feel like this might sound like really sad or really bad or whatever. I do very much believe this, and there are a lot of people that will get upset by this, but I do believe that if you like identify yourself by like your victimhood, then you're essentially lost to any sort of growth or accomplishment in life. Like, if you're like in a perpetual state of only defining yourself by your worst experiences or by your most challenging ordeals or whatever, like you're setting yourself up to always be fucked and always be failing in life. So I don't know. There are like a collection of traits that I have about myself that I like and that I admire and that I like hope are important or whatever. But like things like my sexuality or my gender or shit like that, they're just not things that I care about. Like I would never, I don't know, like when I think about like myself, I don't think like, oh yeah, bisexual, like, oh, like I'm a male or blah. Like, I don't know, these are just not traits that I'm like particularly like invested in. I don't care much about it. I don't know, that shared defining each other by our oppression and like relating to it. Well, not to mention the fact it's also not fair to say, because I also don't have like oppressive experiences as like a bisexual person. It's not like I was like bullied or harassed like, or anything like that. It's just not like, yeah, I don't know. And I don't even think I was like truly, like, I didn't even figure that out until I was like 30. So it's not like I have like a, as a bisexual male, I experience blah, 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 blah. I mean, I understand from a moral standpoint, I meant from a pragmatic point of view. Just because of the type of person I am, it's really hard for me to falsely represent things about myself. Like, I'm a very honest individual. Like, and I even say this as much. This is why, like, I understand, like, it's hard for me to maintain, like, friendships with certain types of people and everything. Because, like, I'm a very, like, I can be, like, a huge dick for some things. I mean, like, you even heard partially, like, the conversation I had last night with Melina, right? Like, I'm, like, a particular type of person, and it's very, very hard for me to, like, fake a reaction or fake, like, an enjoyment of something. It's just not in my nature to do it. I can't. I can do it for very, very, very short periods of time. But that's about as far as I can go. I think people like me make it a part of our identity because it's very easy to be insecure during childhood and when the cultural norm is seen to be against your existence. So instead of defining ourselves, our experience defines us unintentionally. Oh, because of how other people treat you? Yeah, I mean, like that's probably the case as well. I think that for whatever reason, I'm like uniquely independent, probably in some ways to an unhealthy extent. So like so my perspective on that might be a little bit unique. So it might be a little bit easier for me to sort of grandstand about it, like, oh, I don't define myself, but it's because I'm legitimately so disconnected from so many people that it's easier for me to say that. So it's not really fair for me to say that. I mean, that would be a fair criticism of what I was saying. Thoughts on abortion fetish? I don't know what the fuck that is. That's fucking weird. You know what's not weird is fucking breeder fetishes though. Hell yeah. Why does stuff like femdom putting a rod in a dude's urethra exists? Some people like the feeling. Some people like their balls being crushed or whatever too. Some weird people. Wires and a switch or a lever? Is it true that you like cuckolding? Not really. I mean, like, I think that like orgies and shit, or not orgies, but like threesomes or foursomes can be fun. Cuckolding usually implies like some element of humiliation. Like the super psychological stuff like that, I don't really enjoy that much. I don't think there's anything wrong with it, but. Do women actually find it hot when dudes eat their own cum? I've only heard that on the internet. I think that the vast majority of women do. Probably because they're expected to. Well, I shouldn't say vast majority. It seems like a lot of women do. But I don't know if, there might be like different communities that feel differently about that. I once heard, do you think guys tend to have preferences that lead to pedophilic side of things? I was curious if you could think about this. I don't think I would use the word pedophilic, or maybe I did at one point. I think that people tend to value women as like these childlike creatures, so you get into like a lot of weird areas where you want like women that are as like infantile as possible, which I think is like very strange. I think it's just because societally speaking, we tend to like value women for their like youthful beauty or whatever, or being young and beautiful, so it ends up leading to a lot of weird, like a lot of guys are threatened by women that they perceive as being smarter than them, or it's dumb shit like that. I find it weird that teen as a porn category is so popular. I mean, like I said, like people tend to, societally speaking, we still, at least pornographically speaking, a lot of people value like youthful looking women. It's like the thing. Most of the women in the teen categories are like well into their 20s and sometimes 30s even. So weird if I feel like I can only date engineering girls who earn 6-figure plus because that's such a big part of my identity. I mean, if that's important to you.
Really take his wife to leave. Cut that boy from his life's journey. I hope you're happy now, destiny.